Shoot.
How do you think your rookie class is acclimated to being professional football players? I'm sure it's probably a big part of the equation for them.
Yeah, no, I think they're doing a good job. It's early, but they're attacking things the right way. Spend the right kind of time, and I think they've adjusted to our culture, really, really well, and been accepted by the group. I think that's a big part of it. They got to earn that, and again, we're really early, but so far so good.
Brian, I think there were 5 or 6 free agents that signed 4-year deals this year, and 2 of them were by you guys. I think Zach's was a 4-year. Obviously, your 2 guys last year were 4 years. What has made that 4-year contract so palatable for you guys when other teams aren't doing it quite as much?
Yeah, I think I think every player's a little bit different, and every situation's a little bit different. Sometimes, I think we've gone 3, sometimes we've gone 4. But certainly, I think if we're going to make that kind of commitment, we would like, have a little bit more long-term, thought there. And we've done a lot of those 4 years, and it's worked out well for us. So I think that's probably why.
Ryan, going back to the rookie class and specifically Golden, have you seen maybe him be a little more advanced than what you thought in his first week because he's looked so good, or just kind of he's getting it quicker?
Yeah, I think he's done a really nice job with his opportunities. And again, it's very, very early in the beginning stages, but he's done a very nice job with his opportunities. I do think, being a 3-year guy, 2 years at Houston, 1 year at Texas, he's young. Certainly the exposure at Texas probably was very helpful for him in his ability to succeed at the end of that season. But I do think sometimes the players we're getting now are a little more accustomed to adjusting quickly, just because there's so much more movement and they've bounced around a little bit. So the ability to adjust, I think, is, they've had that experience already, so that may help him. But he's really smart, and again, another one of our guys that's adjusted really well.
Brian, with Isaiah Simmons, was that kind of, did you sort of just take a flyer there, or did you really think, this is a guy who could, he's out there with the ones a lot right now?
Yeah, certainly he's very gifted. He was obviously drafted in the first round, and we spent a lot of time on him as he was coming out of college at Clemson. He's got a very versatile skill set, so I think whenever he gets on the field, I think coaches recognize that and see that, and certainly want to see what he can do there. So I wouldn't call it a flyer. He was a guy that I think, as we started to talk to him, we understood how many ways he could impact our football team, not only the defensive side of the ball, but also special teams as well. And again, he's still a young player, so we just still think his best football is ahead of him, so we're excited about that.
What do you think of the young group of cornerbacks behind your experience 3 years? Anyone kind of, I'm not asking you to name names,
Yeah.
but is someone kind of rising up the way you need to at this point?
Right. Yeah, I think they've all done a nice job with the opportunities. It's been really neat to watch Bo get in there and be as successful as he's been in the first few days that he's been out there. No, they've done a nice job. I think there's going to be some really, really good competition there at the back end of that group.
Hey, Brian, about Bo, because you mentioned, I think, last week that when you first signed him, or whatever it was, getting him from Seattle, that you guys had some conversations about corner. Was there anything about his skill set that sort of indicated that to you, that he potentially could be a fit there?
Yeah, when he was coming out of college, all his testing numbers kind of screamed corner. His short shuttle, his 3-cone, his explosive numbers, his speed. Again, screamed receiver too. Again, right when we brought him in, it was something that we discussed as a personnel group. But then again, he took off as a receiver, and certainly we needed him in some of those occasions. But I think, again, it's very, very early, but after these first 5-6 days, I think the decision by Matt to kind of keep him at, corner and let him grow there and see how that worked was wise, because he's did some really good things for us.
Oliver, he had his surgery well before the draft, right?
Yep.
What made him still worth spending a pick on? What about that injury or about him made it still worth taking that shot?
Yeah, obviously we know another versatile player, can play inside backer and edge guy. We drafted him as an edge guy because of his ability to come off the corner and rush the passer with speed. We haven't had a ton of those guys like that. But I think the versatility as well, the ability to play, rush a passer with his hand down, stand up, do some of those things as an inside outside backer, and then also special teams. I just think his skill set that way was really intriguing to us and to Coach Half. And then also just the person, the kind of guy he was for that team, and he was very much a leader, and then the unselfish nature of him to be able to move from inside backer to the edge guy and do whatever the team needed.
Is is the history of that surgery pretty good as far as guys not losing, a lot of explosiveness?
Yeah, we felt really comfortable with it. Obviously, you know how much time we spend medically with all those players coming out of the draft. And again, if we didn't feel comfortable with it, we wouldn't have done it.
Hey, Brian, back to Bo just for a second. Usually when a guy's 26 and he's getting his position changed, it's kind of a death knell. Did you have to twist his arm at all? Like when you sat down and Matt sat down with him in the offseason? Like what was that conversation like?
No, and I know you guys, some of you guys, know Bo pretty well, but he is the ultimate team, a player and competitor. I think he saw I think he's always kind of felt that he had that in him as well, and he seemed really excited about it. And every day he keeps growing, and it's been, again, it's very, very early. There's going to be some ups and downs with it, but it seems very natural to him. So not at all. He was just, very eager to help the team. We know what we have with him as a receiver and as a special teams player. And this is, again, this is something that, this is not something we're just kind of throwing out there and trying for a few weeks. This is something we're kind of committed to.
Between Brinson and Stackhouse, either of those guys make up for the loss of what TJ gave you the last couple of years? Obviously, one's bigger, one's a little different body type. But
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, again, we're 5 days in, and those guys certainly have the potential to do that. No different than when we drafted TJ back in, the first couple of years. He was kind of, he slowly kind of grew into that role, and we would expect these guys to have the potential to do that and maybe more.
Brian, what's the ceiling on a guy like Brenton Cox, who you brought in as an undrafted guy, and kind of had a little bit of an increase each year? Where do you think he can go?
Yeah. Brenton's he's always been a natural pass rusher. He has excellent hands and feel for that position. He's very heavy-handed in the run game as well. So no, I think he's got a really, really good upside, really good ceiling, and he's attacking. He's gotten better, the entire time that he's been with us. And you guys saw that last year as his reps increased, and he was pretty productive in the opportunities that were given to him. So again, that's a pretty competitive group right now. So we'll kind of see how all that shakes out. But no, I think there's a very good upside there.
Brian, what you see last year from Keyshawn at outside corner to make you not go out and get a proven veteran and kind of trust him with? Now, I'm not going to say the number one cornerback role, but a prominent role there on the outside.
Yeah, again, I think when we brought him in, we knew he could play the nickel and obviously the special team stuff. And then, when he got his opportunities outside, he just kept making plays. He was comfortable out there. He made good decisions, was physical in the run game. And again, because of Jair's injuries, a lot of guys were pressed into duties that not only Key, but then Carrington, and they just kind of answered the bell and played really well for us. So I think as we got into the offseason, we felt very comfortable. We wanted to add to the mix, and we brought in Nate, and I think, not only having guys that we feel really good about their level of play, but then just the experience they have there too. And, I think every time we've given Key any different role, whether it's as a kick returner, whether it was on defense, and he's kind of answered the bell and been really productive for us. So I'm excited to kind of see, as he continues to gain more experience outside, what he does for us.
What went into the decision to bring in Israel Abanikanda into your running back room? What sort of upside do you think he brings to that room?
Yeah, certainly when he came out, he's a big, really fast, strong athlete. And then as we were going through camp, from a numbers perspective, we just kind of thought it was something we wanted to do. And again, he's got a skill set that when he came out of Pitt, his last year there, he was very, very productive, a bit of a home run threat as a runner. So I think he kind of fits what Matt wants to do. So that's kind of why.
Little peace of mind in your kicking room. You're not having to answer questions about training camp field goals, and your punting game. That's a bit of a rare commodity that you have right now.
Yeah, no, I feel really good about our specialist group. All three of those guys, obviously Brandon and Matt are extremely experienced, and Daniel's played a lot of football for us, and we really think he has a chance to be one of the very elite punters in the National Football League. So, I feel very comfortable with those guys. Richard does a fantastic job working those guys and making that unit strong. And I certainly think last year you saw that. They were very, very consistent. And, it's a bit of a different, situation we're in this year than we were last year. But those things can change in a hurry too, so you never know.
I'd always like to say you wanted to put the guys in bubble wrap during training camp. So what are you thinking when you've seen Nate Hobbs, hit Dante even a couple times, like Friday, and then obviously Marshawn yesterday?
Yeah, there's obviously you're trying to balance a lot of things as you're going through camp, but you know, we're trying to become a certain kind of football team that can win and win, you know, deep into the playoffs. And there's a certain kind of a physicality that you have to have. And Nate Hobbs brings all that, and that's why we brought him here. It's very important that all our guys have that kind of edge to them. You want to keep guys off the ground, and you want to make, you know, good decisions while you're going through camp and keep guys healthy. At the same time, it's hard. I mean, we're asking these guys to fly around, be physical, make plays, and you know, to back off sometimes is not easy. But we want them all to be good teammates and keep each other, you know, healthy. But at the same time, I'd rather be pulling the reins, you know, and making sure that, you know, we got enough guys in that room that have that kind of edge.
Have you ever come out of a postseason, like after a game from the 49ers, or most recently the Eagles, and wondered if your team just needed to be that much more physical?
I think, quite frankly, over the last couple of years, I felt really good about our physicality and our toughness and our ability to play that kind of game. You know, but you know, I think there probably were times in the past where I was kind of think maybe need to be a little more physical of a football team, but not over the last couple of years.
Ryan, is there anything to worry about with Marshawn Lloyd, given the injury history?
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously working through, you know, I think, you know, as he kind of came, you know, around the corner there, he planted to change directions, you know, I think something grabbed on him a little bit, so they're doing the testing now, and I think they'll probably know more today and see where that goes. But feel for him because, I mean, you know, he's worked so hard to get his body into elite shape and overcome some of these injuries, and sometimes you're a little bit snake bit. I was talking to the trainers, you know, yesterday and today, and I always, whenever I see players go through this, because from time to time we'll have some guys go through things like this, you know, where they have a bunch of injuries early. And I always think of Mike Flanagan, you know what I mean? And you know, there was probably a lot of times where people kind of thought, okay, well, that's never going to work. And then, you know, but they hung on, and then he was a great player for a long time for us here. So sometimes, you know, that's hard to explain to a player, like just to keep, you know, the faith and keep patience, because I'm sure, you know, this has been tough on him, but he's done everything we've asked him to do and more to overcome these things. And I'm sure there'll be a time where he will.
Just to clarify, does that mean that the injury was not related to the contact with Nate Hobbs?
Didn't look like it. It looked like as he came into it, yeah.
Do you have an idea of when your other kicker is going to be able to get over here?
We're hopeful soon, but that's kind of one of those things where it's in a lot of red tape and making sure you can get to the embassy. But when we went into it, we kind of heard it was anywhere between 5 and 14 days, and so we're kind of in the middle of that now, but we're hopeful we'll get him here soon. You know, I think that would help just the workload part of it, so we could kick every day. Right now, we're kind of kicking every other day. It's when you have another kicker, particularly the way Rich and his team works, those guys, it's really nice to have another one just to kind of be able to kick every day.
Brian, Javon Bullard and Evan Williams were two guys who played a lot in that secondary as rookies. Individually, from each of those guys, like, what are you looking for from them in year two?
Yeah, really, I mean, they had outstanding rookie seasons. Just to really kind of continue to grow. I mean, and then really within the defense, and you know, I mean, they bring the kind of physicality and the kind of intensity and really understanding of the game that we want. So really, just as they kind of notch more experience, I think they're going to continue to make more and more plays for us. And again, they did a really nice job for us last year.
You got the receivers coming back with Wicks and Reed and Romeo, and then the two rookies. So if you keep 6, I know these kind of hypothetical numbers, what are you looking for in that last spot? Because, you know, Keith brings something totally different than Hardman does, and something totally different than I'm tired, Brian. You got 3 guys though who it's totally different skill sets. Maybe going for that last spot.
No, you know, and whether we keep 5, 6, 7, who knows how the roster will shake out. But to me, particularly, all those guys, Matt asks a lot of our wide receivers. Obviously, they got to make plays in the passing game. They got to catch the ball, get open, and threaten the defense. But they also got they got to block. They got to get in there and do some of that dirty work. We ask our guys to do a lot of that. And then certainly, usually, if you're going to make the 48-man roster, particularly if you're not one of those kind of top guys, you're going to have to play on teams. You're going to have to play a lot of teams for us. So those are the things we're going to look for. We got a lot of opportunities between the joint practices and the preseason games to kind of figure some of that stuff out. But I like the competition in the room right now. I think, as you guys have seen through the first few days, all those guys have stepped up in one way or another and made plays for us out there. So it's a very capable group, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
3 more, please. What did you make of the intensity as a whole yesterday for the first pad practice?
Good. I think, the intensity was really good. I think it was hot, as you guys know, it was hot out there, and I think sometimes that can drain you, so we'll see how they come back today. Whenever you get into pads, particularly in today's world of football, where it's so different because you have so many more limited opportunities to be in pads. There's always a sloppiness to it to a certain degree, like you're just kind of trying to get, through it. But I thought yesterday was a little bit better than most first days, so, but I think we need that. We need more of that, and it'll be good for us to get out there today and over the next couple weeks to be in pads as much as we can, because if we're going to be the kind of football team I think we can be, we need that.
Do you look forward and enjoy Saturday night coming up this week? And is it a good grading period as well with the crowd?
Yeah. Family night is so unique, and we have such an advantage because, it's most teams just can't put 70,000 in the stands for a practice, and it doesn't matter what we're doing on that field. The intensity within our players immediately ratchets up, and for me, in a lot of those periods, to watch guys make decisions with that intensity in the crowd and everything that's going on, I think is really important, because at the end of the day, what we're doing right now, most of the time those coaches are right in their ear nonstop. When we get into family night a little bit, and then obviously the preseason games, those guys got to go out there and make those decisions without those guys in their ear. And I think it's extremely important for me as an evaluator, as us as an evaluator, to see that and to see how they respond to that. And not only that, it's not just one time. Like, they may go out there on family night, maybe they struggle through it, and they come back to the next preseason game, and now they're calm and they've been there. So just to make sure we don't, but we have to evaluate all that, because at the end of the day, those moments are more important than anything. What they do when they're out there with just the 11 guys on the field.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Brian.
How's Marshawn Lloyd doing after yesterday?
Kind of working through it right now, but it's unfortunate, you know.
It was early, but how was he looking? Until
He was doing great. It's just, you know, you'd like to have him out there. He's a guy that needs that experience, and unfortunately has had to fight through a lot of adversity.
So, Matt, it wasn't, the way Brian said it, wasn't necessarily the hit from Hobbs.
It's hard. I mean, you never really know, but it did look like he stuck his foot in the ground and he never put it back in the ground when he had an opportunity to. So that would lead me to believe that it happened prior to the hit. But
Matt, can you take me through the process of how you evaluate a young wide receiver who is clearly making plays, Sam Brown Jr.? I mean, this guy is seemingly making, yesterday he had that sky on the right sideline catch. Trying to make a play a day, trying to hopefully get noticed, maybe get some more opportunities. Does that happen through the staff? Is that where, like, say you ask, or maybe you notice it on film, where you ask the guys like Jason and those guys, like, what's he like? Because you can't, I know you can't watch every single second of every single practice, so.
what are you talking about? That's my job. I absolutely watch every
During it live.
play. Yeah, I mean, but that's the beauty of having the film is you always go back and you review everything. And so collectively as a staff, you're making those decisions, and it's important for young players when given opportunities to go out there and make plays. And then for a lot of these young guys, it's the level of consistency, because you guys love to blow up all the splash plays, but you don't see all the things in between those. And so there's moments where it's just and I'm not talking about Sam in particular, I'm talking about all these guys, is it's hard for you guys, which it would be for me if I was standing on the sidelines, to see when these guys, maybe they make a mistake, maybe they run a wrong route. So there is some of that that's going on, and that's probably most of the guys. I shouldn't say most of the guys, but a lot of the guys, there's some inconsistencies. So the more consistent you can perform, and then when given those opportunities to make those plays, then everybody takes notice.
And then the question is, how is that communicated to you? Like, does Jason say, I think he's ready for more opportunities, like with the 2
Yeah,
1?
for sure. I think that's part of, you know, we meet as a staff. I don't like to go through our roster every night, because I think then some emotional decisions get made, as opposed to you'd like a little bit more evidence, a larger body of work. And so especially trying to get through the padded days, because you will see some real football today.
Back to the running back position, Chris Brooks over the last year, Wilson over the last 2, just what kind of growth have you seen from each of them?
Yeah, both those guys are doing a great job, and again, it's just the consistency at which you can go out there and perform your job. Certainly they're versatile backs. Both those guys have been able to play in a little bit of our 2-back package. So the more you can do, the better your chances of getting more opportunities. And I think both those guys have really handled that, playing not only the halfback position, but what we call the F, which is kind of our movable piece. And depending on what personnel, like when we're in 11, it's usually Jaden Reed. When we're in 12, it could be any number of the tight ends, but Musgrave assumes that quite a bit. And then when we do our 21H, then it's either Brooks or Emmanuel.
You said we'll see some real football today. Does that mean some of the young guys
That
are going
means
to do
exactly what you think it means, Pete. Are you excited?
fired up?
Okay, I can feel it. A lot of juice over there.
I'm sure you had hopes for Bo Melton when you made this transition with him, but is he maybe exceeded that to some extent? Because I mean, again, we see the splash plays, and it doesn't seem like he's given up a lot of those.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. And I think when you watch him through the course of drills, the skill set is there. It's just getting the adequate number of reps to go and get comfortable out there, I would say, in a very, very difficult position to play. So I'm really pleased with how he's, not only how he's approached it, but how he has gone out there and executed.
How close is Quay Walker to doing team?
He's getting there.
Back to Bo, I mean, he's competing in a position group where these corners have done it for a decade. He's going against receivers who've done it for a decade. Is it particularly impressive that he's done it for a couple of weeks, but he seems to be able to hold his own?
Yeah, I think so. I just think that speaks to the level of competitor that he is. He's not a guy that's going to shy away from tough challenges. So that's why we decided to do what we did. And certainly it doesn't eliminate him from the offensive side of the ball. We just thought the best way to give him a real chance is immerse him in the defensive stuff, and then let's just see how he handles it and how he's done. And he's done a great job. So, you know, we'll have some interesting conversations moving forward.
How much you value big blocking wide receivers on the outside? Do you feel it's going to be difficult to get Golden and Reed maybe on the field at the same time?
No, because I think both those guys are feisty little competitors. They're not even little, but like they're scrappy dudes. We had a transportation play the other day, and I mean Jay Reed blocked Van Ness, and it was a hell of a block, and or maybe it was a reverse, but had a great block on Van Ness. So he'll do whatever it takes as well.
Can we see JD Reed more than at outside wide receiver this year? I know a lot of the times he's just been kind of more of a slot, or maybe even just in two wide receiver sets.
I think absolutely that could be the case. It's solely dependent upon what we're asking these guys to do and who's available.
Matt McManus was 50 of 51 last year in the regular season on all his kicks. But what'd you think across the board?
Jinx this.
Yeah, it's a miss this year. I haven't jinxed yet. What'd you think across the board, though, with special teams? Are they where you need them to be or no?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of great moments. Certainly, you know, I think it sticks out in everybody's mind. Like, you can't have, you know, you talk about the Philly situation. A guy fumbles the ball on a kickoff return. We can't have those big plays that tilt the field in the opposition's favor. And then Chicago obviously gave up a big one. So there's been moments where we absolutely have to be better, no question about it. But I do think our guys have consistently gone out there and competed, and I don't think we're giving an advantage to the opposition more times than not.
From what you saw from Keyshawn when you guys kind of full-time moved him to outside last year, do you think he can, you know, lock down other teams' best receivers on a consistent basis?
Yeah, I love how he competes. And as a corner, you're going to give up some plays. Matter of fact, I mean, Golden had one on him yesterday where it was two guys competing, and showed that in the team meeting. And Jordan threw a great ball, and Golden did a great job of making an aggressive hands catch. But Key was right there in position the whole time. So I guess my answer to you is absolutely. I got a lot of confidence in Keyshawn, and I think it all starts with the mindset to go out there, and he will compete.
Matt, you know the one that went off Golden's hands, that was picked off, he got jammed at the line of scrimmage, I think, which, did that kind of put him off balance? And is that something he's going to have to get used to, or something that...
Yeah, that was a great job. We showed that one this morning as well. Zane Anderson did a great job with the reroute, and I think that's part of a challenge when a defense does reroute, is it throws the timing and rhythm of the passing game off, and it was a pressure, and Cox got enough depth on his drop as a hook defender, and Jordan had to put the ball probably a little bit higher than he'd like to, and it went off his hands. And but it just goes to show you that it takes everybody to do their job in order for somebody else to make a play.
Can he do that do anything different to avoid that, or, you know?
I don't think in that situation, because Zane was in there, they were bluffing a blitz, or they were showing blitz on one side, brought it the other way, and dropped out. I mean, that's part of it at times, where there's nowhere really to go. It's all incumbent upon what route you're running, and if you're running a route where the defender is, I don't know how, it's tough to avoid.
Overall, how did you think the offense handled that session? Because it seemed like, other than that play, they were pretty successful dealing with all the different kind of disguise and pressure.
Yeah, I think our defense does a great job of giving some very challenging looks, and that's why I love it, because it's making both sides of the ball better. So I'd say there's some good, and there's some things that, like always, that you got to improve upon, and certainly the ball is paramount, and we can't give the ball up. So. You can do a lot of great things, but if you turn the ball over, it's all for nothing.
Speaking of that, have you talked to the offense at all? Because I know you got to be happy about all these fumbles that the defense is causing, but you've been putting the ball on the ground almost every day.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. You know, it's great for our defense, and I think our defense is attacking the ball like unlike any time I've seen it in my going into year 7 now. They're doing a really good job of taking it to heart. Wendell Davis does a great job getting up and presenting every day. We call him Ball King around here, so if you see Wendell around, make sure it's no longer Wendell, it's Ball King. But the guys are taking it to heart, though. I mean, we have a lot of fun with it, but at the same time, it's absolutely critical. And those guys have embraced that and are challenging one another, and in turn, it needs to make our offense better. And our guys, I got on the guys this morning about exposing the football. Certainly, we all know what kind of player Tucker Kraft is and can be. He can't allow Evan Williams to reach around and punch a ball out. So it is challenging. It's challenging everybody, and hopefully that makes us that much better.
If I go back to Golden and rookie receivers for a minute, in your experience, what's been their biggest challenge, especially for somebody who you expect to be on the field as a rookie?
There's so many different answers to that question in regards to a lot of it's dependent upon the person, how fast they can pick up the offense. Because I think that's the starting point, is you got to understand the concepts and then where you fit within the concept, and then all the detail that goes with that. And then the next level to that is recognizing defensive structures, defensive coverages, understanding leverage of whether it's a second level defender, the safeties. Then there's another layer to that in terms of how you come off the football, if you're getting pressed versus free access versus a cloud. And then you got to understand the run game and how you have to fit up blocks. So there's just so many levels to that question, and it's basically how fast they can acclimate themselves and go out there and play fast, because I still think a lot of young guys that when they're out there, whether they're making plays or not, they're not playing as fast as I know they're eventually going to play. It's because the wheels are turning upstairs and there's a lot going on.
More process than physical?
I would say absolutely.
What have you thought of the way Baron Sorella's kind of transitioned into the league so far?
Yeah, he's done a great job. I mean, you can kind of get a good feel for the character of the guy, and he is A+ in terms of just how he's going to approach everything. He will absolutely, I think, reach his ceiling just of his, because of how he approaches the game and the time he puts in and how detailed he is, and you can coach him hard, and he takes everything to heart, and I think he's getting better every day. I think he's still got a lot to learn, so it's going to be fun to see just that evolution take place throughout the course of camp and into the regular season.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.